go ahead.
Welcome to this Town of Newmarket Council meeting on Monday, October 2nd, 2017. All members of council are present with the exception of Councillor Twinney. Mayor Van Bynen is presiding.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. We do not have any public notices. Any additions and corrections to the agenda, Mr. Shelton?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have an additional item, and that is a deputation by Ms. Nancy Fish related to item 17 of the September 25th, 2017 Committee of the Whole minutes regarding the town-wide traffic mitigation strategy.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Could I have that addendum for the agenda, please?
So moved.
Councillor Kerwin, second by Councillor Broom. All those in favor? And that is carried. Yes, we do vote now. This is... There we go. And that is carried. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Councillor Hampton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. From the minutes of the Committee of the Whole, September 25th, item number 1, or 21, I should say. This item included discussion regarding vacant storefronts, and there was some discussion about Main Street storefronts. And as I have a business on Main Street, I will not be participating in the discussion.
Okay, so we'll deal with that item separately when we come to that item on the agenda. Thank you. There are no presentations or recognition items this evening, and we do have one deputation as part of the addendum to the agenda, and that is Nancy Fish, and that is with respect to item number 17. Ms. Fish, if you could come forward, please. We permit up to 5 minutes.
Thank you, everyone. I've got a bit of a throat bug going on here, so I hope I don't need my water. Mr. Mayor and councillors, thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. I would like to speak about the importance of expediting the implementation of the town-wide traffic mitigation strategy. First, let me say that I'm excited to see that the town and the engineering department have made progress and that we are getting closer to the implementation of the policy. I'm thankful to the engineering department for all their hard work. It's been a long time coming, 5 to 7 years in fact. It seems that traffic's on the agenda. I'm here. I first addressed council in the fall of 2012. After that, Councillor Bob Coapis and I formed the Ward 5 Traffic Safety Committee. In June 2013, we presented council with a mission statement for our group and requested a town traffic mitigation policy based upon the existing policy in London, Ontario. Over the years, I've been working and leading many of the traffic initiatives, devoting as much time as I could considering a full-time work commitment and a long commute. I have worked with Viva, the York Regional Police, the Ontario Safety League, and testified at the Ontario Legislature in support of automated speed enforcement around our schools and seniors areas to protect our vulnerable citizens. I have led communications programs at the farmers market and schools and engaged the Newmarket Era for exposure to this issue. Yet, here we are 5 years later. People are stunt driving up my street and no one seems to be slowing down. They are driving faster on my street and all streets according to social media. I'm here today to wholeheartedly support recommendation to expedite the policy. Taking a year to finish the work is too long. Speed mitigation is one of the most important concerns among residents in Newmarket. With respect to the stakeholders group, residents need representation to participate in the policy and ensure its speedy progress. I'm not clear on how the stakeholders group will be formed, but I hope to be included. Given my history of traffic leadership, safety leadership over the last 5 to 7 years, supporting and leading many of the safety initiatives and helping the town of Newmarket make progress in this field, I hope that I will be considered. Thank you.
Do you have any questions of clarification from any members of council? Being none, then a motion to receive would be appropriate. Councillor Coapis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nancy, thank you for being a strong advocate for traffic safety for so many years. You've been a champion not only in traffic safety mitigation, but also safety education at schools, events. I've seen you in public meetings and library and farmers market and so on. Working together with the community, YRP, with the town, had prompted many safety initiatives. During our committee of the whole last Monday, staff had indicated that they will be focused on expediting that date or try to deliver information before that. And I'm also sure that when they are going to be picking the focus group, and if there is a resident portion that will be considered, that you'd be the first person as a natural choice. I just wanted to thank you for your dedication, Nancy, for making our town safer and for all your efforts in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. And the seconder to the motion? Did you want to speak to that? Nope. Okay, all those in favor then? That is carried.
Thank you.
Might be appropriate then for us to bring forward item number 17 of the Committee of the Whole of September 25th, and that is the townwide traffic mitigation strategy. The recommendations are there. Councillor Quapis, if you'd like to move them. It's on page 38. Okay, sir. And could I have a seconder for those recommendations? Councillor Kerwin. Okay, Councillor Quapis speaking to the recommendations as the mover.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I fully agree and support the changes in A and in B and so on.
Okay. Might, for the benefit of our viewing audience, maybe if we could recite item number B, that staff be directed.
Sure. A states that Appendix A be received and referred to the public consultation process, and B, that staff be directed to consider the feasibility of an expedited timeline for a town-wide traffic mitigation strategy as outlined in Appendix A, and report back to feasibility of the same to Council on October 16th, 2017.
Okay, and there are a number of other items that are in addition to that. Okay, did you want to speak to that then? You're done?
I'm done. Thank
Okay,
you.
Councillor Kerwin is the seconder.
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I'll call the question then. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. Next item is the approval of the minutes, special council meeting of July the 10th. Councillor Kerwin? Seconder, Councillor Broom. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried. Next item is the council minutes of September the 11th. I have a mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Vague, Regional Councillor. Any corrections? All those in favor then? Any opposed? And that is carried. Reports by regional representatives. Regional Councillor?
Thanks very much, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I just want to highlight a few items that have occurred in this past week, in the past 7 days, and they're all related to housing issues. And housing is certainly an issue that's on the minds of many people in our communities as we face the challenges that come with the rapidly escalating home prices that we saw over the last number of years. There was as we all know, the opening of 212 Davis Drive. The official opening was this past week. And it was a very good event. The building is not fully open, but residents have started moving in. And as you know, that building has up to 25% of it is dedicated to Housing York for subsidized housing, and the rest is market rent. There was many very pleased residents there that were moving in and very excited to be moving in. One person there was moving into one of the subsidized, the rent supplemented units, and she was practically in tears talking about how this was, she couldn't believe it. She was like living a dream. She'd been on the wait list for 8 years. So that was a very significant day for Newmarket and frankly for York Region, and it was being discussed at many of the other meetings I've attended in the past week. I also spoke at the York Region Local Municipal Housing Working Group. It's a group of about 20 to 30 planners from throughout the region and at the regional and the municipal level. And we have two of our planners there, that participate as well from our planning department. And I just was speaking to them on some of the housing experience that I've had related to 212 Davis and other projects. And then today I attended a provincial housing forum down in Toronto with a couple hosted by 2 cabinet ministers, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and the Minister of Housing. And there was about 20 industry reps there, and these are 4 or 5 hour sessions that are working through various housing initiatives that are coming forward. The province, they're looking for feedback on it. I was there representing AMO, Association of Municipalities of Ontario. So a big week for housing in many ways, and a lot of activity as well. We know that there's some big, in the future, in the next 6 months, probably we'll be hearing quite a bit from the federal government on housing. So a lot of opportunity in face of a lot of challenges as well. So another thing I wanted to bring to people's attention, you may be aware, I think there was an article in the newspaper that there was a notice of motion brought to Regional Council by Chair Fish looking to petition the province to alter the method. Oh, should I say Chair Fish? Habit over many, many years, Chair Emerson. And Chair Emerson brought forward looking to petition the province about the method in which we elect the chair. Generally, the idea being that the chair would be under the petition, or the way it's proposed, would be to have the chair elected from an elected member of regional council. So it couldn't be someone outside of regional council. You have to be at least elected in your municipality. But then under that circumstance, you would remain in your current position and be chair. So you might be a regional councillor, a mayor, and the chair of the region if that proposed initiative were to go forward. And that'll be discussed more. The other reason, sorry, and I want to go backwards a little bit. The other reason I wanted to mention the housing work is the local municipal housing group and the regional staff are both looking at and working through and getting feedback on, and part of the topic of that meeting is, I guess, a menu of potential incentive items that they want to sort of get agreement on across municipalities that would be there and would be theoretically available for a municipality to use on a pilot basis or on a permanent basis. It would be almost like a pick list. It wouldn't be necessarily that all of those would go, or any of them would go towards a housing initiative, but they would be formally agreed upon as items for consideration. So that will be coming eventually to this council when it gets worked through the system for our feedback and our input and endorsement or lack thereof. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, next item then is the council workshop minutes, item number 3 of September the 18th. Could I have a motion to approve those, please? Councillor Vague, Councillor Quapis. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, and that is carried. Thank you. Next item is the Committee of the Whole minutes of September 25th. And we will deal with item number 21 separately as a result of the declaration. Are there any items that any member would like to deal with separately? Yes, and with the exceptions of item number 21 and 17, because we brought item number 17 forward. Being none, then, could I have a motion?
Did item 15 get corrected? The remind, was that done? Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
I'll move it.
Okay, Councillor Hempel, seconder. Regional Councillor. All those in favor, so that's all items with the exception of item number 17 and 21. Any opposed? Being none, that is carried.
Can I interject and ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, sorry. I missed item 2, the council meeting minutes of September the 1st, 11th. I did have a, sorry, not on there. Sorry, I missed an issue I wanted to raise in the council meeting minutes of September the 11th. And I was wondering if I could either ask a question or reopen it if necessary.
Is it something we can address under new business?
I don't think so, because it's how they're recorded, so.
Okay. Oh, so that's just a clarification. Item number 11?
Yeah, so I'm talking about page 19 in the agenda. It's related to the OMB and Gorham Street,
Okay,
770 Gorham.
so I'll permit that.
I could ask the question, if it doesn't require any change, then we wouldn't need to reopen it.
When we ask the question, we'll see whether it requires it.
Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. This is through to staff, and I apologize for not asking the question earlier, previous to the meeting, but I actually did catch it just before coming into the meeting. I noticed on page 19 and 20, that it refers to the staff be directed to advise the OMB that council support the Committee of Adjustment and that we will appear as a party at the OMB. In the event that the town, and then it says, in the event that the OMB decides to allow the appeal, the way it's formatted, I almost read like the second part, that's all in quotations, was a position, i.e. that consent to sever and minor variance applications be approved, subject to the following conditions. It's just, I found the wording a little, and I assume that's not what it means. It says in the event that the OMB decides to allow the appeal, that it be approved, subject to the following conditions. But my real question through, I guess, Mr. Mayor, to one of our commissioners or to the CAO is that part that's there, that's usually accompanies a report when we're not attending the OMB that says, in the event the OMB decides to allow the appeal. Would that normally be part of a recommendation if we were attending the OMB? I kind of assume that stating, if it doesn't go our way, this is what we would like you to consider, is typical of a report when we're not attending the OMB. And was that the intention to still have that included? I mean, the minutes are the minutes, but I guess if it wasn't intended to be there because we are now attending the OMB, then it would seem to me it'd be better to have it out and since we're there in person, we can speak to those conditions if that's where things go. Am I correct in assuming that it would be?
Commissioner Armchuk? Yep, we need you to press your button. There we go.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the Regional Councillor and Deputy Mayor. That is correct. We would normally, if we were not appearing as a party to the proceeding, we would normally file a letter or a report with Council's direction, and that's the standard language that we would include in that direction with respect to the town's position in the event that the appellant is successful. Since we are appearing as a party and there will be evidence provided, typically
Got a bit of a system crash.
Typically, we would,
Okay, there we go.
through our witness, have the witness testify as to appropriate conditions in the event that the town is successful. In this case, I'm not certain that there is a witness on behalf of the town. So in the event that the town does not call its own independent witness, but simply appears, this direction is still helpful for the board.
So,
So, Mr. Mayor.
go ahead.
But I guess, but if we are attending and it says in the event the OMB decides to allow the appeal, we would find that out in attendance, and then couldn't we speak to those points? And would we normally, I guess my question is, if we were attending, would we normally have this phrase about, in the event that the OMB decides to allow the appeal, attached when we are attending? Because it seems to me it's kind of, I don't know, a little bit sort of saying, like, I just seems, I know it's not like giving up before you start, but it's kind of, if we're there, in the event they decide not to allow the appeal, we'll be there, and could we not then raise those issues and say, well, now that is, these are the conditions we hope it would be subject to? Does that make sense, or?
I wonder if I could clarify as well. This provides whoever attends on behalf of the town directions of council's intent as well. Is that-
That is correct, Mr. Mayor. And typically, as I said, if the town has a witness at the hearing, the witness would provide this information through evidence. That is the normal course. If there is not a town witness there, then this direction provided to the board as a direction of council would provide the board with the town's position.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if it maybe reads better if we had a formatting change and indented that paragraph so that it becomes a subsection of III. So subsection III says, in the event the OMB decides to allow the appeal, then all of that's in the quotation marks would be a subset of that. And so it would just be a formatting change. It wouldn't require amendment. So we can make that an administrative correction?
Yeah.
So it reads that way?
I still
Okay.
have one more question. if I
Sure.
could. I thought I heard you saying that if we had a witness, and I believe from my experience with the OMB, our witness typically means we have a legal staff and the witness is a planning staff member. But in the discussion, when we discussed this, I thought it was pretty clear. I thought the discussion pretty clearly assumed that there would be both legal and planning staff in attendance.
Commissioner? Just push the button once and then we'll.
Thank you again.
There we
And
go.
through you, Mr. Mayor, I can confirm that we will have a witness. I just can't confirm at this moment. I will confirm with you following the meeting tonight.
Who it is, but but we will have somebody there.
That's what I will confirm. I'll confirm that with our legal staff.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So we will take an administrative correction and just subset that. Good. All right, now we were at, no, we haven't dealt with item, we dealt with 17. We need to deal with item number 21 of the Committee of the Whole. And item number 21 is the vacant building storefront, and we're dealing with it separately because we have a declaration. Could I have a mover and a seconder with the recommendations of the vacant building storefront report? Councillor Quapis, seconded by Councillor Vague. Do you wish to speak to it, Councillor Quapis, as the mover?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I already spoke of my thoughts about this and provided direction during the Committee of the Whole, and I believe that option number 2 is the right way to go, and I look forward to the details.
Great, thank you. Councillor Vague is the seconder.
No further comments to that.
Okay, I'll call the question then. If there's no further questions, all those in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. Next item is the closed session of our Committee of the Whole of September 25th. Could I have a motion, please, to adopt the minutes? Councillor Bezance, Councillor Broom. All those in favor? Any opposed? Unopposed, and that is carried. Item number 1 of the Committee of the Whole closed session meeting of September the 25th. This was advice that is subject to litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality as per section 239, bracket 2, bracket E of the Municipal Act, and it relates to a property in Ward 7. Could I have a motion, please, that the Corporate Services Closed Session Report number 2017-17 regarding litigation be received and that the recommendations set out therein be adopted? Councillor Bezance, Councillor Broom. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried as well. Thank you. Proclamation request. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Broom. Councillor Vague. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, and that is carried. Thank you. Wait for the vote to display. Bylaws number 2017-49 through to 57. Is there any bylaws that members of council wish to deal with separately? Being none, then, Madam Clerk, if you could recite the bylaws for us.
Bylaw 2017-49 is a bylaw with respect to regulations for the installation, repair, maintenance, and access to water meters within town-serviced areas. Bylaw 2017-50 is a bylaw with respect to regulations for the installation and connection of private sewers to sewage works, discharge of sewage and stormwater and land drainage within town-serviced areas. Bylaw 2017-56 is a bylaw to provide for the conveyance of land and cash in lieu for parks and other purposes. And bylaw 2017-57 is a bylaw to repeal bylaw 2002-168, being a bylaw to prescribe the form, manner, and time for the provision of notice, as this information is outlined in a notice policy as required by the Municipal Act.
Thank you. A mover and a seconder, I already have, Dawn. Nope. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the bylaws, please? Councillor Kerwin, Councillor Hampton.
Okay.
All those in favor? Any opposed? None, and that is carried. Notices of motion? Any motions? Announcements and community events. We'll start with Councillor Bazance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The town of Newmarket encourages members of the public to report graffiti. With your help, graffiti can be prevented. Reporting can be done online at newmarket.ca/graffiti by calling the town at 905-895-5193 or by using the My Waste app's Report a Problem feature. Graffiti will be removed as soon as possible. If you see graffiti or vandalism in progress, please call 911 as graffiti is a crime and should be reported to York Regional Police. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Broom.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to take a moment to congratulate all the students at Sir William Mulock for their Soaring to Excellence presentation last week. We saw over, I think, 40% of the school was up there receiving rewards. It was quite an impressive ceremony. In addition, a public information center on the Property Standards Bylaw and Clean Yards Bylaw is scheduled for Wednesday, October 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Council Chambers of the Municipal Offices at 395 Mulock Drive. A formal presentation will take place near the start of the meeting. The purpose is to update the Property Standards Bylaw to prescribe minimum standards for the maintenance of heritage attributes and properties designated under the Ontario Heritage Act. The Clean Yards Bylaw is being introduced to deal with maintenance issues that require immediate attention due to health and safety concerns such as standing water, debris, composting, boulevard maintenance, and general yard maintenance. For more information, please call our Bylaws Department at 905-895-5193. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Quapis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just in time for Halloween. Join us on Wednesday, October 18th and on the 25th on our ghost tours as we tour downtown Newmarket and unleash the stories of the past of Main Street and the Old Town Hall. Guests will be taken on a guided walking tour to learn about many suspicious events and anecdotes that have haunted the area since 1880s. We meet at the Old Town Hall, which is located at 460 Botsford Street, for one of two tour times. The first one is at 7 until 8:30 p.m., and the second one is at 7:30 until 9 p.m. The cost is only $20 per person, and you can register online at newmarket.ca/ghost tours. Hope to see you there.
Thank you. Councillor Hampton.
Thank you. The town of Newmarket is holding its annual Thanksgiving Fall Food Drive. Donations of non-perishable food items can be dropped off in the lobby of the municipal offices here at the town, which is 395 Mulock Drive, until Thursday, October 5th. All donations will go towards filling the shelves of the Newmarket Food Pantry. Join us in supporting this great annual event. Thank you.
Thank you. Regional Councillor.
Thanks very much. We're just coming off of Culture Days here in the town of Newmarket, and the Newmarket Group of Artists Studio Tour this weekend was a phenomenal success and an amazing event if you haven't done it before, to walk around to stores and houses in the downtown community and see all our local artists' work on display. Coming up, however, I wanted to make people aware that the Newmarket Festival of One Act Plays starts this Thursday with a gala and a performance. And that is at 7, all of them start at 7 p.m. Also on Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Old Town Hall. And you can get information and purchase tickets at www.v, as in Victor, UTC.ca, VUTC, or the Very Useful Theatre Company. And that starts again on Thursday, runs Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. And it's the Festival of One Act Plays.
Thank you. Councillor Kerwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Seniors Meeting Place has organized a bus trip to Casino-Rama on Tuesday, October the 24th from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Buses will depart from the Ray Tweeney Complex, 100 Eagle Street West. Tickets are $7 for members and $10 for non-members and can be purchased from any Town of Newmarket customer service kiosk. For further details, call 905-953-5325. And I hope they have a good trip. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Vague.
Thank you. Just a couple items to announce. We do have our Ward 1 community drop-in happening tomorrow night, which is October 3rd from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Magna Center, main floor. This is an opportunity for Ward 1 residents to come by and talk about your suggestions, your ideas, and how to make our ward and our town even better. This Ward 1 drop-in does have a particular focus, and the focus is on Copper Hills and the development happening in Copper Hills. In particular, we'll have an update on the York Region District School Board property in Copper Hills and let people know what's happened with that over the last few weeks. Also, we'll have an update regarding the Aurora development that will be adjoining Copper Hills and connecting through Bob Gap Drive. And third, we'll have an update regarding what's happening at what we'll call the Plaza site at Leslie and Veterans Way. And also a bit of a discussion about when Copper Hills will actually be finished after 8-10 years of construction. So it's been a long, long time. So I invite all Ward 1 residents to come by to the drop-in, and in particular residents of Copper Hills, to get some updates on developments that are directly affecting you and the quality of your life in the community. We also have a mention here regarding the Santa Claus Parade. Do you mind if I
No, go ahead.
take that? For the Santa Claus Parade, which will be coming up on November 18th, we are looking for volunteers to wear the costume characters and participate in the parade. It's usually students, certainly adults are welcome. It's usually students that are coming by to do that, and they can earn student volunteer hours for that. For information, or if you'd like to register as a volunteer, please visit us online at newmarket.ca/volunteer, or you can contact one of our staff, Sarah Ernst, in the Recreation and Culture Department. And to contact Sarah, please phone 905-895-5193. The deadline for registration as a volunteer is this Monday. For this event is Monday, November 6th. So we still have a few weeks to do that. So student volunteers, if you ever wanted to participate in the Santa Claus Parade, please come out and join us. It'll be a lot of fun, quite rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you. Please note that the Newmarket facilities and buildings will be closed on Thanksgiving Day, Monday, October the 9th. And if anybody has anything that they'd wish to discuss with me, I'll be at Mayor in the Square at the Farmers Market on Saturday, October the 28th from 10 a.m. until noon. I think following that, we'll go indoors into the library. And our next council meeting is on Monday, October 23rd at 7 p.m. Any matters of new business? Okay, there's no requirement for a closed session. Confirmatory bylaw. Councillor Kerwin, Councillor Vague. All those in favor? Any opposed? None, and that's carried. Motion then to adjourn. Regional Councillor, Councillor Kerwin. Recorded vote on this one. All those in favor? Any opposed? None, and that is carried. Thank you.